with Tim Duggan, the 2012 U.S. professional champion. Tim, how's it like to wear the Stars and Stripes?
It's awesome, dream come true. My whole cycling career from the very beginning, I wanted to be national champion at some point, and to say at the end of my career, yeah, I was national champion. To tick off a big goal like that this year feels really good.
How much do you remember that moment behind your right shoulder, where you got your arms up, you got the motorbike with the light shining at you? How much do you remember about that crazy last 5-6 kilometers where you broke away?
It's just in that moment I was just super focused, and I was all into that move, that attack, and committed, and there's nothing I was doing but just trying to get to the finish as fast as I could, and focusing on the simple things, breathing and pedaling, and I didn't look back, didn't worry about what was going on behind me. I was just going as fast as I could, and I didn't believe it, didn't let myself relax and feel relief until 5 meters before the finish line. I knew I had it.
I remember you came across, and it was sort of a weird moment there. No support. You had your teammate there, and it was some teams that had 7, 8, 9 riders, and then there was just you and Ted. So that had to be a weird moment at some ways.
That's a good statement. It was a weird moment when I crossed the line, because I crossed the line, big win, super awesome and satisfying, but then immediately it was kind of lonely, because I didn't have that, our soigneurs and our director and that team support that we normally have, just waiting for you at the finish to whisk you away and do whatever you need to do. It's just cross the finish line, and it was just me. And then a couple minutes later, my teammate, who played a big part in my win, crossed the line, and he was there too. But yeah, right as I crossed the line, it was kind of lonely, but not strangely, but really satisfying.
So you go on. You got the summer, you do the Tour Swiss, ride the Tour of Poland, and now you end up on the Olympic team. That's got to be one heck of a summer. And what was it like to ride the London Games?
Yeah, it was a super great opportunity to go to the Olympics this year and be an Olympian.
So Tim, I noticed you got the Olympic regalia on here today, United States Olympic team. This has been one crazy summer for you, I bet, from the time you put on the Stars and Stripes and won till the time you went to Tour of Poland and then ending up in London. Tell us what that was like, the experience.
Yeah, just like winning the national championship, being named to the Olympic team was another huge goal of mine. To be able to say I'm an Olympian, that's something that kind of transcends more than just cycling. Walking down a street anywhere in the world, you tell a person you're Olympian, they know what that means. So super cool feeling. And in London, my favorite memory taken away from that is just my whole team USA. We all rode such a great race. We all did our jobs perfectly. We executed our plan perfectly, and to come away from the Olympics being super proud of your performance and knowing that we all did our very best, and that was a world-class effort, and we made the race. I'm super proud of that, and that's a memory I'll have forever.
Geez, for NBC network TV around the country for 2 hours, Tim Duggan, the U.S. You were out there, and I think you were sort of the duct tape on those that middle part to latter part of the race for the team.
Was the strategy for a few teams. Nobody wanted to go to the line and sprint with Cavendish except maybe Andre Greipel. So we were an aggressive team, like a few others were, and my job was to be in that early move and hope a few other of my teammates came up to me, which they did with TJ and Taylor. And then we had Tyler waiting for the sprint. So we played all our cards perfectly, and the race the way it was, with 40 kilometers of kind of hard to control open roads into the finish. You can't win them all, but we did everything we could, and just missed out on the medals with Taylor's 4th place. But that's certainly not a result to be bummed about at the Olympic Games.
So You missed the opening ceremony. You know, you would have got back to your hotel at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Would have been racing 250 plus kilometers on about 3 hours of sleep.
Not the best strategy. What was the best London experience outside of what you did on the bike?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, just the crowd on the side of the road in the race was just mind blowing. I mean, it felt like a dream. Like you wake up the next day and like, did that really happen? I mean, I didn't know that many people existed even in London. I mean, that was insane. But yeah, outside of the race, just being in the Olympic Village, being around all the different athletes, not just the scrawny cyclists that I'm used to being around, it was super cool. And rubbing shoulders with other athletes that are, twice my size or totally different body type, or they eat totally different things, or their tracksuits are different color and they're from the other side of the world. It's just a super unique experience. You can't have that anywhere else. And everybody's there because they're the best in the world at what they do, and it's a pretty unique environment.
Take us back to the summer of 2011, racing in your home state in the first USA Pro Challenge. What did it feel like, and what do you remember the most?
For me, it was just so satisfying to have such a high level race right in my own backyard, and I could do this race and attack this race just with this feeling of familiarity. I mean, I knew every kilometer of the route just like I do this year, and I had friends and family on the side of the road and giving me support, and to replicate that again this year is going to be fantastic. But so just having that familiarity with the route and with the region and just the vibe of the area and the race is just it's really empowering, and feels really good.
Now the media and the organization vote on the overall most aggressive rider for the race, and they thought combination of things, especially the last 3 or 4 days, you're the ones who you got the most aggressive jersey for the overall race. What was that like? And obviously part of that was due to the fact that you guys won 3 stages and you helped put your guy in positions to win.
Yeah, that was a true honor to win that jersey and be up on the final podium in front of, we had a few 100,000 people there at the finish in Denver, and my friends and family. Just super cool, really satisfying. And that the aggressive rider jersey, I think, really personifies how I like to race. I'm not the best sprinter, I'm not the best climber. I like to race on the attack and really make the race, be aggressive, and a dynamic situation is really kind of my situation. So to have that vote of confidence that I was worthy of that jersey at the end of the race was a pretty cool feeling.
2012, what do you see within the confines of the 7 days of this year's race? You've looked at some of the courses already, and what do you think of the layout? And obviously tell us about your team coming into the race.
Yeah, I think this year's route at the USA Pro Challenge is going to be maybe another notch more difficult than last year. We still have the same altitudes, racing over the really high mountain passes, and I think the difference this year is going to be, we've got a couple more just punchy hard finishes that are not as straightforward maybe as we had last year. So I think the finales are going to be hard. Even if they don't completely blow apart the field, there's definitely going to be seconds to be won or lost at the final of every stage.
You've previewed the Colorado Springs finish. You've obviously rode up Flagstaff the next day in Boulder, probably more times than you care to say in the pain locker. And then finally you've got obviously a flat time trial in Denver. So really pretty eclectic finish for this year's race. How do you view that?
I think the race this year is gonna go down to the wire, and you're not gonna have a runaway favorite to win until the last day and a half of racing. I think the stage finishing on Flagstaff and Boulder, other people might argue otherwise, but I think that's gonna be the most difficult stage of the race. And then you have the time trial the next day in Denver, the race of truth. There's no hiding there, and if you lose 30 seconds on the mountaintop in Flagstaff the day before, you might be able to win that back the next day. So I don't think anything will be decided until the finish line in Denver.
What's it going to be like to wear the Stars and Stripes, basically on your home turf, and in what is considered America's race.
Yeah, super honored to wear the Stars and Stripes at my home race. I couldn't ask for anything more. So just riding, just riding the national champion jersey in my hometown and my home race will be a huge honor and a huge thrill. But more than anything, I want to back that up and animate the race and win, win a stage or a jersey or really be a part of it. And I think we have a really strong Loopy Gas Cannondale team, and you'll see us on the front of the race there in my my national champion Stars and Stripes jersey.
Tim, you had a pretty severe injury over 4 years ago, and to see and come, from a hospital bed now to where you are now in your career, it's got to be rewarding. I don't know if redemption is the right word, but certainly rewarding, and seeing the fruits of your labor, after all that time has got to be pretty fulfilling. Tell us about that.
Certainly. Unfortunately, a big part of my career has been defined by come back from that injury and some other injuries, and I think I share that with many other sportsmen, and I think you have to really. A lot of times you really have to see that low, that so close to losing your career or even your life, to give you some perspective on your sport, your life, and how you want to do your sport and how you want to live your life. And when you come back up from that, you can bring it higher and be better than you ever were before. But yeah, you have to have the valleys to have the peaks, and it feels really good to have accomplished some big goals this year, in spite of having to come back from some debilitating injuries.
Final question: how's your life changed since May, and now I'm sure you're going to evolve one more iteration when you start seeing people after wearing the Stars and Stripes over at the London Games?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, talking about how you want to live your life and do your sport. I don't think, no matter what I won in the sport or what I accomplished in the sport, that wouldn't change who I am. Other than that, my jersey is a little bit different. I'm still waiting for a few extra zeros on my paycheck, but yeah, it hasn't changed much. I'm just trying to have fun and race my bike.